So we have Tana Laleen here. We are going to ask you a couple of questions on your views on moving out or facing the major challenges when you moved out. So my first question is, one time during Olympics hosted by China, it declined visa to the athletes of Arunachal Pradesh, saying they don't need one, said welcome home. As some from Arunachal Pradesh, what are your views on this act of China?
So, as you said in the question, they said welcome home. First of all, we are Indians, we feel Indian. We have Indian blood over here. We've been here for many years, and we are as Indian as you all are, and we feel Indian. So it's completely bullshit. Like we don't want to be them. We have our own thing, and I think this question is also bullshit.
Okay, so that was your answer.
Yeah.
So the next question is, after moving out from your hometown, Northeast, and coming to the northern part of India, what changes did you find in the behavior of the people in the society? Did you feel welcomed or left out?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I was here in North India for this my 10th year running in North India. So I know the culture and norms very well over here, the people over here, the language over here. Like, and I can understand Haryanvi, I can understand Hindi, I can understand Punjabi. So I'm very familiar with this, with North India. And yeah, in the initial years, 2015, 16, 17, 18, even 19, we used to face a bit of racism even in today's date, but it's like I'm used to it right now. So I've got a thick skin, so yeah, that's it.
So do you have any traumatizing experience when they were mocking you?
Yeah, I had, but I was very young back then, 13, 14, 15 years, 16 years, till class 9, 10. So it was more of a immaturity back then, but if I think about it now, I shouldn't have reacted. Yeah, but it's not that deep.
You're healing.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Okay, fine. That's all for today. Thank you for your time. Okay, so we have Kabir here.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Kabir.
for having me here.
I have a couple of questions for you. I just wanted to know how do you perceive them and what are your views on the questions. So I'd like to get started with the questions. So the first question is, as a political science student, what do you think, how would you actually define language? Do you think it should divide or unite people? And what is the scenario that we get to see when we step out to the real world?
Okay, so thank you, Deepanshi. It's a very important question in current scenario. So, as you said, as a scholar of political science, it's important to understand how language is a medium of expression and also a medium of dissent, multiple forms of expression. So, language for me, as you mentioned in the question, is it a tool to unite or to divide? So, I see language as a tool which is an imperative tool which should be used to its maximum potential to create good, to spread good around the society. If we look at language now, it plays a role in politics. I guess if we were to separate language, it's not just politics, the entire human expression will cease to exist. So languages have got a very critical importance in human existence and also politics as an important sphere of life. Language can be used in multiple ways to spread good or to unite people in a society. If we look at Indian case, post-independence history, we have seen how India has managed. We look at the Indian case, the Indian example. I think it's been a successful intervention from the Indian government in 1950s in the form of reorganization on the basis of linguistic lines to actually unite the nation and to create a spirit of brotherhood in the nation. Because as we see, language has been an issue of great divide. If we were to look at our neighborhood, the entire thing led to the creation of Bangladesh. The language was the main motive, not getting important due for their own culture and language. So I guess language is an important tool which should be used rightly and actually which can lead to betterment, or it can also have detrimental effect on society. That's the answer for the first.
So, in one word, how would you say it? It should be used to unite.
Unite people. That's
Okay, okay, fantastic. I'd like to ask you one last question. It goes like, do you think unity and diversity is an utopian concept, keeping in mind the constant communal clashes, language imposition, riots that we get to see every other day?
So, Deepanshi, again, this is a very hard-hitting question. So, as far as my opinion goes on this subject matter, I wouldn't say it is completely utopian, it is realistic in a way. Utopian in the sense we cherish the value, right? So, unity and diversity is an important concept. But again, you mentioned how we are seeing a proliferation across the globe in proliferation of clashes, of ideas, of cultures, of ways of living, of civilizations. So, as Samuel P. Huntington very rightly mentioned, that in his book The Clash of Civilizations, that post the fall of the Cold War and the end of the Cold War, we have seen an increasing clash between civilizations, and he mentioned 7 civilizations in his book. So I guess unity and diversity is a utopian concept in that context, because see, we need to preserve it. We can't take it for granted. We need to understand its value. We need to cherish it. Again, the clashes are gonna not cease to exist. They're gonna increase, because see, the world is no more a homogeneous community, especially after the end of Cold War. It is a highly divided, it is a highly united also at the same time, a global order. So we need to understand the clashes which we're seeing are manifestations of the civilizational or rather cultural miscommunications or pluralities. So it's not easy to stop them, but at the same time, we look at the Indian example. It is the most brilliant example mankind has ever seen. How by cherishing the values to an extent, not completely, by still cherishing them, by upholding them, we have been able to preserve our unity, the diversity, and blossom it in an age of great cultural revolution. So again, to sum up your entire question in one answer, yes, to an extent it's an utopian concept, but yet it is still grounded in realities. People do cherish the values of maintaining respecting the plural points of view. So that's a very grounded reality also.
Thank you so much. That was some fantastic knowledge hunt here. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very
So we have Aditya Rajguru here. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. So your first question is, do you think it is possible for a diverse country like India to build a national and inclusive society? What do you think people look at themselves more as Indian, Punjabi, Bengali, Gujarati, Tamils, etc.?
India is a holding together federation like Canada. It's not a coming together federation like USA. India is made up of many states, and every state has its own culture, religion, norms, values, etc., and which gives people their identity. And since we are a holding together federation, each the person of every state, like a Punjabi or Bengali, is a Punjabi first and a Bengali first, because before that, before India was formed as a federation, every state was individually ruled by different kings or something, and then we were ruled under the British. But then after that, when we became independent, only then all the states came together, and India and Pakistan, India and all the states came together, and we formed India. But after all, every person does see themselves as an Indian, but they do prefer to see themselves as a person of their own state first. But it's not that people don't see themselves as Indian in any scenario. They do see themselves as Indians, but only in scenarios like war or national festivals or national calamities or moments of national celebration where someone from our country achieves something, or we win the World Cup, etc. But other than that, in most scenarios, people prefer to see themselves as or identify themselves as Bengalis or Punjabis or people or from their individual states.
So your second question is, how can we achieve an ideal society with inclusivity for all and no culture and linguistic borders? Is it really possible?
I think it's not possible to build a nationally inclusive society which has no cultural or language difference, as being from a state like Bengal or Assam, etc. There are so many states in India. Every state has its own identity, its own cultural preferences, its own cultural norms, values, so on and so forth. And those things are what makes those things are what make people belonging to that culture who they are. Those aspects of their culture give them their identity, and forgetting those norms and values, or not following them, and instead following the law and the governance which is set up by the government of the country, or in India in this case, which we are living in, is just not possible, because it's we can't just leave behind our identity, and it's too tough. It will also cause cultural violence. It will cause communal violence, and so on and so forth, regional movements, etc.
दिमाग काम नहीं कर रहा, थोड़ा वीडियो चल रहा है क्या?
ओके, ये सब ब्लूपर्स में जाएगा, चिंता मत करो.
Society with inclusivity borders, is it really possible?
ये मैंने इसका बोल दिया. मैंने आंसर दिया, वो मैंने
तुमने रट के बोला था.
नहीं
नहीं कुछ